Hello and welcome to the last episode of 2025 for the New Money, New Problems podcast. Hope that you all have had a good holiday season. In transparency, I've never been more happy to see a year go than 2025. On social media, I called it a year of shared pain. And it's been interesting. There's definitely seasons where you feel like you're experiencing some personal wins. The people around you that you love and care about are experiencing some wins. And I think we should all do a better job of cherishing those seasons because there's also seasons like 2025 when you're not always up. And in addition to just the natural trials of one's personal life, which I am not immune to. They call it the vicissitudes of life. It's also been a year where just the people around me have been going through their own version of hell. We've had people we care about and work with who have gone through death and divorce and job loss and separation and closed businesses or frayed partnerships, and just being pushed and pulled to the brink in all areas. And for me, at least, I am definitely looking forward to better things in 2026. That said, I do feel there are some things to celebrate from 2025, and there's some value that we added along the way, specifically on this podcast. And as is our custom, I wanted to make sure that we celebrated some of our favorite moments in the podcast for the past year, starting with the series that we did on pivoting into entrepreneurship. If you'll recall, and we'll put a link to some of these episodes in the show notes, there are several episodes that we did talking about the journey of not only how to leave a job and pivot into entrepreneurship, but also sharing the stories of people who actually did it. One of those stories being our friend Leonard Black, who pivoted from a wildly successful corporate career into franchise ownership. He was one of several entrepreneurs that we interviewed in this series, but Leonard's a wise man. I always enjoy spending time with him, and I hope that you'll enjoy this snippet of our quick interview that we had with him this past year.
I actually had an entrepreneurship class that introduced me to a lot of the concepts that I'm putting in place today, and just recently transitioned out of corporate America the summer of 24 into franchising as an entrepreneur as my first step. And I did something a little unique in that I actually purchased an existing business from a previous owner under the franchise instead of starting from scratch. And so today I am running a pool maintenance and repair business that has nothing to do with any of my career background. However, I'm leveraging quite a bit from that background to actually apply to drive growth of that business.
So we'll get to what I've talked to about with Leslie Cuban. So if you're listening, you've listened to the start of this series, we actually met Leslie through Leonard. So she assisted in his process, and she mentioned Leonard at the start of this would have never thought that he was going to be owning that particular franchise. So we'll get to that. There, in knowing you for a long time now, longer than I've realized,
Yeah.
there has always been something that I've complimented you on to other people. Even in your corporate career, I said, Leonard is always interested in hearing information. And then he will decide what to do with that information. And it came from, I used to joke with you. I'm like, dude, you take more interviews than any person I've ever met, even when you love your job. And you said that's the best time to take an interview because now you have all of the leverage. You don't have to leave because you like it. What do you think sparked that level of curiosity, and how did it serve you in the interest in transitioning to entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I have to definitely thank my parents and my family for really kind of embedding in me having a natural curiosity. I further think that is what's allowed me to see success in my professional career as well as having that curiosity, to your point. I think the idea of being curious about making a move and moving into entrepreneurship was really because I wanted a new challenge. I think that curiosity leads to continuous learning, obviously, and always wanting to kind of grow. And so I think that is kind of my mantra, is that I'm always learning. I look at every day, like, what did I learn today? I ask my kids, what did you learn today? Because we should be learning every single day. And if I feel as if I'm not, I move. And that's really what it was, is that in my corporate career, I had about 20 years of experience by the time I left. And over those 20 years, I literally was having conversations with people around things that were happening. And I worked in, some pretty hefty roles as it relates to working directly for like presidents of the organization, of the business unit, CEOs, direct reports to other C-suite staff as a direct report. And one thing that I started to say in this past year and a half was everything is feeling like deja vu. I've seen this play out before in this way. This is what's going to happen. And it did. And so it was a point in the past 2 years and thinking about my family situation where it's like, all right, I want to do something different. So let me investigate. And to do something different, that's when I really got serious about the entrepreneurship route.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that clip as much as I did. We are moving on to one of our next favorite clips from 2025, and that is the interview that we were so grateful to get with the great, renowned Seth Godin. Seth Godin is a monster, a titan in the entrepreneurship space, in the content creation space, in the author space. He's done many, many things, and it took months and months to get him on the podcast. We're grateful to our friends who helped facilitate that I thanked in that episode, which we'll put a link to in the show notes as well. So we just want to have a quick snippet on the episode today of some of the time that we shared with Seth and some of the wisdom that he shared. This next one connects to that because it's about how you charge for the work that you do. Mm-hmm. And I want to read this quote exactly. It says, open quote, "If you sell your time at the lowest possible price, you'll always be busy helping someone else get to where they're going. Successful people figure out how to trade their time and effort for the change they seek to make in the world." I don't even know if that's a question as much as, man. But if you could expound.
Well, okay, so, some of the people listening to this are freelancers. You have only one boss, and it's you. And you got that way because you wanted a job without a boss. The problem is the boss you have now is an idiot, you, because he keeps waking you up in the middle of the night telling you you're not doing a good job. He keeps getting you bad clients. He keeps undervaluing your work. And that's a race to the bottom. If you're on Fiverr or Upwork or one of those services, or if you're just hustling for the next gig, doing tasks and chores, you're competing on price. And it's just going to keep getting cheaper and cheaper. And the alternative is to race to the top and to say, I do something distinct enough that you're not going to easily find someone who can do it the way I do it. That people aren't going to say, get me a locksmith or get me a massage therapist. They're going to say, get me Brenton. And when that happens, you're racing to the top. You are showing up to make a change happen that you are the best at making happen. And you can do that with your day job too, right? So if you're working at a company with 30 people and the boss has a choice of 4 people to pick for something really important, why are they going to pick you? Is it because you will do tasks and chores more quietly and with more hours than other people? Or is it because you bring something distinct to this work and they're going to look good because they picked you?
I will stay on that thread, and I'll use something that you've talked about in multiple books. It sounds like it's very important that you identify the people who are able to see that in you, right? You're both evaluating.
Right.
And in both This Is Strategy and some of your earlier works, you tell people to effectively ignore those who come to your business or your work down the line, and to focus the majority of your efforts on those who pay attention to it first, the early adopters.
You're mixing two things here. So
okay,
I'm happy for you to edit this. I'm happy for you to edit this, so we can leave it in.
I'll leave it in.
Okay, so there are two things that we're talking about here. The first one is this. When you choose your customers or your boss, you are choosing your future. When you go to look for a job, you're not hoping that someone's going to pick you. You're auditioning your next boss. And you are worth it. Your days are worth it. Don't work for a jerk. Don't work for someone who wants you to work for pennies. Don't work for someone who wants you to stay exactly the way you are. Don't work for someone who's evil or disrespectful. Don't work for someone who's making the world worse. Go audition bosses and earn the privilege of working for someone who's making a change the way you want it to be made. If you're a freelancer, the only way to get paid better is to get better clients. And you don't get better clients by doing harder work for bad clients. You get better clients by becoming the kind of freelancer that better clients want to hire. Okay? So that's the first part. The second part is that when an idea is spreading through the culture, the first people who buy it are different than the last people who buy it. So you know somebody who bought an iPhone the first couple months it was on sale. You know somebody who bought Bitcoin when it was $10 and they can't stop talking about it, right? You know somebody who likes to go first, who's always listening to music that's not on Spotify yet. Those people are early adopters. When new ideas come along, we should ignore people who don't like new ideas. And we should try to find people who do like new ideas. So this podcast, over 100 episodes, your first week, only 10 people listen to it. Now, lots of people listen to it. And soon, even more people will listen to it. There are some people who like to listen to a podcast as soon as it comes out. And there are other people who wait until 3 friends tell them about a podcast, and then they join in. There's early adopters, and there's people who go later.
Next up, we have my friend Naseema. Naseema is a person who is really unique, really kind. As we shared on her episode, she is someone who leveraged a career in nursing to a 7-figure net worth, all while paying off 7 figures worth of debt, the details of which are shared in her episode. In this snippet, we're talking about some of the limiting beliefs that we assign to ourselves and that we internalize, especially when it comes to wealth creation and what we are worthy of. So I hope that you enjoy her unique perspective on what she told herself wasn't for her and how a shift in that mindset has made all the difference in her life. Okay. A question that we ask of everybody who comes on, and we start with the negative first so we can get it out the way.
Yeah.
So we're big on childhood experiences and what they taught us about money and how they impact us. So there is something that you were taught or observed about money that has impacted you even as an adult. And when you're at your worst, this is the thing that you have to keep at bay, right? Like, I know this about myself. I got to overcome this or otherwise I'm in a bad spot. Like, what did your early experiences about money negatively reinforce in your life?
That wealth wasn't for me. So when I was growing up, I lived in the hood. I lived in West Oakland, but I went to school in a very affluent neighborhood. I had to catch 3 buses there, and big homes all around me. Everybody had money, and me and my sister was the only people that looked like me at that school, and everybody else had money and they didn't look like me. So I always thought that kind of wealth was for them and not for me. And it shows up a lot in everything that I do, even now with what I have, because, I feel like I have so much more potential, but that really gets in the way. And I really have to work hard against that narrative.
Okay. Now there's a flip side to this, because I believe that we all have something that we picked up from our family or people that were around us that you're like, man, I'm so glad that this is a part of my personality, right? And it helps me with my journey to wealth, right? Speaking of Jamila. So what is your positive behavior or thing that you picked up where you're like, this is a unique element of my personality that serves me well?
I think it's my ability to share things with people and to help people and to bring people along the journey with me. I really feel like it's my obligation to make sure people have this information, because I really feel like the greatest form of protest is financial freedom.
Okay. Now, my final question for you is, you mentioned that you started your channel to help a few friends, right? Like, about how many friends are in that circle?
It's about, let's say, 8.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so 8 friends. You started this platform to help out 8 friends. By my last count, you have over 200,000 followers on Instagram.
Yes.
So When you look at where you started to where you are now, how does it feel?
It feels amazing. It feels amazing, but it also, you know, that you always like it's so hard to not like look at, oh my god, but I should be here. I mean, like I say, I'm an OG in the game. Like I started back in 2016, and you see these people like start a Instagram in a year and like have 1 million followers, and you just like, so it's really hard to not do a comparison. But I am so honored, really, that I'm able to reach people in the way that I am ultimately. Like, seriously, like, I think that, first of all, it was a crazy fluke. I did not get into this to be a content creator or all this kind of stuff. But just because I had the audacity to share my story and my journey, I've been able to impact so many. So I love it.
Well, that's powerful, and you
Yeah.
should be proud. It's hard to not compare, but comparison is
Yeah.
the thief of joy. So I think we should
Yes.
all fight that urge. And last but not least, one of our recent interviews with Tony Collier. Tony Collier, the well known author, social media personality who has turned some of her biggest trials and tribulations in life into a ministry that has blessed others through her podcast, through her YouTube channel, through the many books that she has released. This was from a few weeks back, but it was an impactful interview, and we've heard from several of you how touched and moved you were by the information that she shared. So for our last clip of 2025, a brief moment with Tony Collier. There's a concept called loud budgeting. You may be familiar with it, but
No.
loud budgeting is the idea that when you have a financial goal, you should be very open with the people around you about that financial goal. So like if you're going out to dinner with
Mm,
friends and they're like, hey, we're going to get a big glass of wine or bottle of wine, or we're going to do this, and then we're going
yeah.
to go on a trip, being willing to say, hey guys, there's actually some things that I'm going through, or there's some things that I'm building towards. So for that
Out loud.
reason,
That's good.
I'm going to, abstain. And when the trend came out, it was a lot of stories of people who were like, I'm saving up for a vacation fund, so I'm gonna not have this glass
Yeah.
of wine, or I'm trying to do
Yeah.
it, talking to, like from the view of 20-year-olds year
Like
olds
a
who didn't have a
luxury
ton of
standpoint. Sure.
responsibilities, right?
Yeah.
Thing that's already a luxury in and of itself. And to me, I
Yeah.
come across people, especially during this season, where it's like
Yeah.
loud budgeting, but with the real circumstance of what's going on.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I just got divorced. I would love to join you on that trip.
I want to
I'm
do
gonna
it.
stay home this time, right? Hey,
Yeah.
such and such got laid off, right? Like we have
Yeah.
other financial priorities. And to me, I think there's this phase of life where it's
Yeah.
like you're trying to project to the world financially that you have it all
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
And to have to admit, and very publicly admit,
Mm,
is
mm,
something that
mm.
most people don't have to go through, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
most people have enough of a time telling someone, hey, I'm just not going to go on the trip, and not even
Yeah.
sharing the reason, much less having to say, hey,
Yeah.
you know the reason, right? And this is my
You
current
know, you
circumstance.
can
Yeah,
Google it.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Unfortunately.
Now, I want to go back a little bit to your childhood because you talked
Yeah.
about that period from 7 to 13, and
Yeah.
research actually shows that a person's ideas about how money works
Oh,
is
yeah.
mostly fully formed by the time they're 13.
Mm,
So I would ask you, when it comes to
yeah.
money and your feelings of it, your idea of its power, if you have to
Yeah.
think about those early childhood years, what was your
Sure.
relationship like with money?
Oh my goodness, I love this conversation. I am a firm believer that money is not just a linear way to process it. I believe that culturally, all those things impact us financially, behaviorally, socially, emotionally, all these, even spiritually in some ways. So I do believe, I'm just glad that you're bringing this up. I'm glad that you have this platform because I do think that our relationship with money is just not a linear financial one, two, three thing, right? Like it's this holistic thing. And I can very clearly pinpoint that I was in a financial tug of war with my parents. My dad on one side was like, we po, which was not true, actually. Okay. We were middle class. Okay. We didn't have a whole bunch of stuff, but we were not poor. And his whole thing was do not spend a dime. We don't have money for that. We're not sure. Scarcity mindset all the way. Like, we don't have a dime. Like, fear-based, right? For him, he had instilled in us this emotionally fear-based scarcity mindset. We never have enough mentality. Now, my mama, baby girl, will make it rain on the whole neighborhood. You hear me? I mean, she's adding it to the bag. There was also a level of secrecy and hiding. So there's some shame around money as well that was kind of cultivated in me because we didn't want dad to find out, right? So it's disjointed type tug of war, spender saver back and forth, spender saver back and forth to the extreme. So it felt like this pendulum, if you will, of like back and forth, back and forth. Okay, you got to save, never get a credit card, do not spend that money. And then, oh my gosh, let's just get it. Don't tell your dad we got it though, right? So there's this secrecy that's involved. And now I think I have found myself like, first of all, responsible for everything. So I am the dad, the mom, I'm the leader of my household. And I am now not struggling, I would say, but I'm clawing my way to figure out my financial identity. How do I give? How do I save? Generosity was a huge part of what shaped me. My dad was a super generous person, but for some reason, when it came to our family, he was like, we poor, okay? But he would just give. So I'm very generous when it comes to other people. But I will say there's a bit of there's some extreme spending. Okay. I do like to make it rain. I do think that's connected to some identity things. Like I've got it all together. I'm the leader. I'll pay for your meal. I got this. I got this. And then on the other side, I think there's this, natural pendulum swing to, oh my gosh, we don't have enough. Well, if I spend, past this certain threshold, like maybe we're going to be poor. Like, so there's some fear there as well. And I think those are the things that kind of shaped my financial identity.
That's it. Some of the best clips of 2025, but far from the only good clips that we've shared. I hope that you have enjoyed what we have given you over the course of these past 12 months. If you're looking forward to 2026, one of the things that we are doing to celebrate the new year is we're encouraging people to participate in the 30 Money Moves Challenge. So if you have not already, you can go to newmoneynewproblems.com/30 money moves. We're also going to be sharing the details of this in our weekly newsletter to encourage those who are looking for a fresh start to participate. But I look forward to seeing you in a happier, more pleasant environment in 2026. I know I am anxiously awaiting the strike of midnight tonight, and I hope to see you soon. From New Money, New Problems, this was the New Money, New Problems podcast, a show for successful professionals searching for the tools they need to navigate financial opportunities and obstacles they've never seen.